What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. I hope you all had a good Christmas, and I hope that whatever you're doing for New Year's, whether it's a live one or a quiet one, that you have a good time. So Frank Warren is calling for Anthony Joshua to fight Daniel Dubois. Now, what do I think of that? I think that it's an intriguing fight. Those two have actually sparred. I used to train down Daniel Dubois' old amateur club, and I've been told a few things. About that spot, but I don't know if I'm going to reveal it. I need to, because I'm good friends with Anthony Joshua's cousin Aaron. So I'd have to check to see if I can reveal that, what I've been told. But those two have sparred, and yeah, be an intriguing fight, put it that way. They both hit hard, but would that fight be a viable option for Anthony Joshua? Now, I haven't read the rankings myself. I need to check, but I don't think Daniel Dubois is highly ranked with the sanctioning bodies. So from a risk rewards situation, would Joshua be willing to take that fight? As I'm hearing Anthony Joshua is angling to fight Hrgović, post Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. And I think because the IBF are very strict in enforcing their mandatories, if Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk have a rematch clause, which I believe they do, then one of them is going to get stripped post them having their first bout. Which, for all intents and purposes, you're going to know who the undisputed champion is, but there's going to be -1 belt if the IBF enforce their mandatory and Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk have locked themselves into a 2-fight deal. Obviously that means they can't take that mandatory, and that means one of them is going to get stripped, whoever won the first fight. So in that scenario, I believe Hrgović is number one. I'm guessing he's number one, and Anthony Joshua just beat Otto Wallin, and I'm guessing that I'm hearing Anthony Joshua is angling to fight Hrgović. So how likely, and that would be for the vacant title. So I'm hearing Anthony Joshua versus Hrgović is possible for the vacant title if the winner of Fury Usyk gets stripped, because they're in a 2-fight deal, and obviously that means if they're in a 2-fight deal, they can't fight their mandatory, and the IBF might strip one of them. But saying that, I do believe that Eddie Hearn was actually able to lodge the IBF and get an exemption. So I do believe there is leeway, or some sort of way that an exemption is possible. But anyway, let's see how that unfolds. But going back to the this video, Frank Warren is pushing for that Joshua Dubois fight. I don't think that fight's likely to be anytime soon. I don't. For the reasons I've just said, I think Anthony Joshua's got his eyes on different things. And Daniel Dubois, I think he'd take that fight. It's a big money fight. I reckon if Daniel Dubois wants that fight, he might be well advised to maybe fight a British, because he just beat Jarrell Miller. Yeah, Jarrell Miller is somewhat known in, the boxing world, but he isn't known in the casual world like that. But maybe if Daniel Dubois beats someone who's got more face value in the British market, maybe someone like, I don't know, who is really known in the British market in the heavyweight scene right now? It's not really, outside of Joshua and Fury, it's not really like that. Maybe Joe Joyce, that's a good one. So if Daniel Dubois beat Joe Joyce, someone like that, who people in Britain know, and even Joe Joyce isn't really like that, you know, if I walk down the street and ask a few, like 10 people who Joe Joyce is, people probably wouldn't even know like that. If I ask who Anthony Joshua is, I reckon 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 are saying they know. But the point I'm making is, if Daniel Dubois beats a British name, then in my opinion, that makes the Joshua fight more lucrative. So I think that's definitely a route that Daniel Dubois should consider if he's pursuing the Joshua fight. He could lose trying to do it, but I don't think Joshua is going to be incentivized to take that fight. Now, with regards to how I think that fight would go, there was a time when I thought Dubois would do it, based on the styles, but now I've seen more of Dubois and his limitations. I would probably side with Joshua, but believe me when I say that's not a foregone conclusion. I think that Daniel Dubois, you know, Daniel Dubois is a naturally bigger man than Anthony Joshua. I know Joshua is weighing in heavier than Dubois these days, and Joshua is filling out as a man, but I think in terms of the bone density and things like that, I actually think Daniel Dubois is a naturally bigger man. And I think you'll find if Dubois is fighting at the age Joshua's fighting at, he'll be possibly weighing heavier than Joshua is now. But I think Dubois, his jab can cause Joshua fits, potentially. But then I say that, you know, Kubrat Pulev, in my opinion, has a more educated jab than Anthony Joshua. But because Joshua had the height and the reach, and Joshua's jab is good enough, he was out jabbing Pulev. So sometimes your jab can be as educated as you like. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with having a less educated jab than Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev's jab is his best weapon, and he's probably, I would say, he's top 5 in terms of jabs in the heavyweight division. So maybe even top 3. I wouldn't even be surprised if I really sat down and looked. Since Klitschko retired, Pulev might have the best jab in the heavyweight division. That doesn't mean that he's the best fighter, but anyway, I think Dubois' jab, battle of the jabs in that fight would be interesting. Joshua's jab's more of a piston jab, a quicker jab, a snappy jab. But Daniel Dubois' jab is more, I believe, a solidifying weapon, a more powerful, heavy jab. He hurt Jarrell Miller with a jab in his last bout. So, battle of the jabs would be interesting. But I'd still maybe say 55% I think Joshua would win the battle of the jabs because of the height and the reach, and his jab again is good enough. Joshua has the power to make... You see, Jarrell Miller, I'm not convinced that Daniel Dubois is not going to quit in a fight again. Now, he really went from strength to strength against... He went from strength to strength against Jarrell Miller. That might do wonders for his career. He might never quit again. But I'm leaning on the side of no, because I think Daniel Dubois' quitting is different to other people's quitting. You see, Daniel Dubois to me doesn't come across as a thinker. No disrespect to the man at all, but he doesn't come across to me as this deep thinker. So I think when he quits in a fight, it's more of an instinctual in the moment thing. Like, I don't think it's something that weighs down on his mind. Oh, this is getting worse for me. I want out of here. I think it's an in-the-moment decision Daniel Dubois makes to quit, like against Joyce and against Usyk. I think those were in-the-moment things, like right there in that decision, without even much thought. So I think Anthony Joshua could very possibly get him there. But I'll talk more about what I think would happen if those two fight, if the fight gets made. I don't think it's likely, but I would lean towards Joshua at this stage, but under no set of circumstances am I seeing that as a foregone conclusion. Dubois got the tools to beat Anthony Joshua. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Is that fight likely to be made? And if that fight does get made, who wins? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work, leave a donation. A link for that's also in the description. With that, enjoy the rest of your day. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one.